My parents came to visit me back in October after 4 years of not being in Korea, and since they'd never been to Japan, we started our travels over in Osaka, traveling to Kyoto. We were so tired and hungry from traveling, so for our first lunch in Japan we had curry. This was also my first time visiting Kyoto, and it's such a beautiful city. The river that goes through the city is so calming, and the scenery here in Kyoto is so beautiful. And I love how the houses aren't too high, so it feels very open, and you can definitely take in all the nature. We walked over to the Gion district and the Higashiyama district to see the Yasaka Noto, and hoping we'd also catch a glimpse of the geishas as well. We were also lucky enough to hit the Kiyomizu-dera temple during the golden hour. It was absolutely magical. I just wanted to capture all the beauty and show it to everyone I met. Unfortunately, nothing beats experiencing something in the very moment, which is also the beauty of life and Mother Nature. Also, side note, sorry for butchering all these names, I'm trying my best. For our second day, we woke up as early as we could to head out to the Kinkaku-ji, or Temple of the Golden Pavilion. Although we got there pretty early, there were already a lot of people there. I also bought this lucky amulet at the temple for good health and fortune for me and my cat. We found this little restaurant just outside the temple with the help of Happy Cow. It smelled so delicious in there, where my parents got to try okonomiyaki and I had some vegetarian stir-fried noodles. After lunch, we headed over to the Arashiyama bamboo forest by taxi, and our taxi driver was so sweet. He drew us this little map to follow so we would find the right entrance. Japanese people are so sweet and helpful. Compared to when me and my siblings went to Japan this summer, the October weather is so much better. It's perfect for walking and doing outdoor activities. We saw these little cute vending machines that had this really cute small coffee in Barbie miniatures. I kind of regret not getting any of them now that I'm looking back at it. Then we headed back into central Kyoto, where we strolled around some more to just look around and take everything in before we ended up at a pub after craving some beer and salted edamame beans. Day 3 came along and we had a small breakfast at Hollidays Coffee while deciding on which order to approach today, since it would be our last day in Kyoto before heading up to Tokyo. On our way to the Fushimi Inari Shrine, we ended up at this small little market. I have to be honest, it was so confusing to get to the Fushimi Inari Shrine by bus, but somehow we made it and we got to walk up the mountain through the torii gates. On our way back down, we saw this little shop that had a cute little cat that was working hard by bringing curious visitors over. I kind of forgot to film what we were eating for lunch, but I managed to capture this delicious matcha and coffee ice cream. Towards the late afternoon, my dad was so tired and headed back to the hotel to take a bath and have a rest, while my mom and I took a last look around before joining him at the hotel to freshen up before dinner. We didn't really have any plans for dinner, so we just walked around until we stumbled upon this little cute restaurant. And at the table next to us, they were celebrating a wedding and they had so much fun. We got to congratulate the newlywed couple before we headed out of the restaurant and literally just crossed the street to have some more wine. We woke up so early on morning 4 to take the Shinkansen up to Tokyo. We were hoping to see Mount Fuji, but we did not get to sit on the mountainside. Either way, it was very gloomy and we basically slept all the way up because we were so tired from our intense exploring the previous days. After arriving in Tokyo, we aimed to walk over to the hotel, but we gave up pretty soon since we were all just so exhausted. We left the bags at the hotel and wasted no time to see Tokyo. This was my 4th time in Tokyo, whilst it was my parents' first. I've already seen most, if not all, of the touristy things, but with that said, our first stop was of course Shibuya. And we also went to IKEA. My mom, she works at IKEA, so we went just for the shits and giggles so that she could tell her coworkers, but we actually ended up taking a small coffee break there. My dad wanted to stop and look at some cameras in a camera store for my mom because she's literally been talking about getting a new one for ages. We stopped for some ramen on our way back to the hotel where we checked in and took a good few-hour nap. I was so exhausted, I barely knew my name. And yes, we stayed at the same hotel as me and my siblings stayed at this summer, which you might recognize if you watched that vlog. And if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you do. After having the best and deepest nap of my life, we actually headed back to Shibuya crossing to see it at nighttime, which had a totally different vibe from earlier in the day when it was kind of grey and gloomy. We later walked over to Harajuku and it started to rain a little. I wanted to check out the vintage stores in Harajuku, so we stopped at this little store called Santa Monica. Looking back, I really regret not buying this chili pepper handkerchief that I saw. I was so drawn to it right away, so I don't know why I didn't just buy it. As we were leaving, I spotted this beautiful pink Ralph Lauren shirt that they had remade, and I took a look at the price and I said to my mom that I can definitely make this myself. So I was just going to take some photos for reference and I just want to try it on and see how it fits, which was a big mistake. I fell in love. There was this very sweet girl in the store. She came up to me just to tell me how well this shirt suited me and that the color was perfect for me. And if you didn't know already, pink is one of my absolute favorite colors. I love it so much. And I realized that if I can't find another shirt in this pink, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to want it. So I'm not going to be able to remake it. So I got it, even though I think it was a bit expensive. We had a little walk around Akasaka, the area of our hotel, and watched all the Harry Potter themed decorations. I promised that we did not travel to Japan just to eat Italian food. However, as a vegetarian, Italian restaurants are almost always a safe card, since I know that there will be at least one item on the menu that I can eat. And so comes around our 5th and last day in Japan. We had breakfast at Tuli's Coffee and sat down deciding what to do since it was a rainy and very grey day. In the end, we decided to go to Yokohama to see the ocean despite the rain. It had been 6 years since the last time I visited Yokohama. However, I don't recommend going on a rainy day. It's just not as beautiful. We came back from Yokohama to the Kappabashi Dori, also known as the Kappabashi kitchenware town. I've been wanting to go here for the longest because I've always wanted to buy ceramics in Japan, so I finally got to buy some ceramics and bring back home to Seoul. I need to be honest. I've been too scared to walk into a sushi restaurant in Tokyo, not knowing if I would be able to eat anything and not wanting to be rude and offend someone. I know that being vegetarian is my own choice and I don't expect anyone to accommodate to it. And I also know that it's not always going to be the easiest to find food that I can eat. Therefore, I never wanted to put myself in a situation where maybe I would do something wrong and cause some trouble. It's just been an occurrent anxiety of me when I travel. So you can imagine how excited I was when I found out that this sushi chain close to our hotel served vegetarian options. I kid you not, it might have been one of the best vegetarian sushis I've ever had. It was so delicious. This was our last night in Tokyo, so we sat on the balcony for a bit to appreciate the view and snacking on some convenience store food. I came back from Japan yesterday and I bought these really beautiful bowls. They're so pretty, but I fell in the subway and I broke them. I was in a rush to get home to go to class, Korean class, and I was so exhausted from my travels that I saw like blurry, like double vision. And I never fall in the subway, but I fell in the stairs and I broke both of these. They're so beautiful and I'm so sad. I was gonna use these as my new yogurt bowls and like smoothie bowls, but I broke them both and I'm so sad. However, these two did not break, so I'm really happy about that because these ones are the most beautiful bowls I've seen. These are green and like sparkly. The glaze is sparkly. I'll see if I can show you. I think I need to put on the flash. Yes, like this. Oh my gosh, can you see the sparkles? It's so pretty. I'm so glad these didn't break, but I would have preferred if no one broke. Either way, I'm very happy that these two survived. So 50% of my ceramics survived. Very happy about that. These are so beautiful and there's the only two left. Otherwise, I would have bought more of these. Speaking of ceramics, I also got these really cute chopstick holders. That's also ceramics and they are like food theme. I saw so many cute ones, but I got stuck on these ones. I got them in Kyoto, so I only got 3 actually. It's this green peas, a little green chili, and asparagus. They're so cute. I can't wait to use them. After a few days back in Seoul, we headed out for our next adventure, Jeju Island. My parents has been talking about Jeju since the last time they came to visit, which was in 2019. And I was so excited that we finally could go together. However, the 3 of us came down with a heavy cold from all of our travels, and it fully broke out when we got to Jeju. Unfortunately, due to catching a cold, it led us to stay mostly at the beaches and not be able to do everything we had planned. But with that said, I'm still so grateful I got to spend this time with my parents. On our first day, we explored around the hotel for a bit before checking into the Cal Hotel in Sowipo. My boyfriend was also invited on this trip, which was really fun. Due to the pandemic, my family and my boyfriend didn't get to meet until this year, although we've been dating for 4 years already. While my parents stayed at the hotel to take a nap, my boyfriend and I went down to the volcano cliffs to go fishing. Or rather, he went fishing and I cursed myself out for not bringing my sketchbook. So instead, I just collected some seashells and I ate a tangerine that I got from someone earlier that day. And for dinner, we just ordered takeout because I started feeling a bit under the weather. The next morning, my dad felt rather sick and my boyfriend wanted to sleep in. So my mom and we set out to find a pharmacy to buy some cold medicine for my dad and grab some breakfast at the cafe close to the hotel. As my dad stayed in bed for the rest of the day, the rest of us hopped into a taxi over to Hopter Beach. The weather was so nice, like a Swedish summer day. I bought this cute little tangerine hat to cover up from the sun while my boyfriend went fishing and my mom and I had a swim in the warm ocean. Let me tell you, we were the only ones swimming, But to us, this water was warmer than any water in Sweden during summer. So of course we needed to take a little dip in the ocean. And funnily enough, on the last day, we also saw some people swim in the ocean. Turned out they were also Swedish. And of course I knew they had to be from somewhere where it's colder, like Sweden, because no Koreans were in the water swimming, only dipping their toes in their knees. On our way back, just in time for sunset, we stopped at the volcano beach next to our hotel. It was getting a bit colder, so I grabbed a hot tea from a coffee shop across the street before returning to the beach to look for sea glass and seashells. Sadly enough, my mom also started feeling quite bad, so we put her in a taxi to go back to the hotel and take a rest, while my boyfriend kept fishing and I kept just enjoying the very moment. I know that I have mentioned this before, but I really love the ocean and being by the beach. It's just so calming to me. It's one of my happy places. For dinner, we grabbed some Chinese food, and that's it. We were all so sick by the end of this trip, and I had no energy to film anymore. And that's how this vlog ends. Thank you so much for watching.